Hello everyone. Now this is the first time that we are coming with the English passage in front of the student because some of the students will appear that this exam in English medium or in English language, because some of the students have been learning, means having started their educational career, educational standards from beginning, and they are learning in English, so they could feel little comfortable in English. So it is our opinion that we could also needs to take the linguistic part in English. So the students who are going to appear exam in English, those students will definitely benefit of this process. So it would be very great and it would be very convenient to them. And it is our motto to spread the conveniency throughout the students. So let's get understanding about the first passage that we are displayed on board. So we will, to understand the passage, to understand the content which is appearing in front of you, the main point, you have to read it very concentratedly and slow. You have to read concentrate and try to get an understanding, try to understand the message what the passage to convey to you. Got it? So we will have, so actually there are three parts. Basically, if you will try to divide the passage in three parts, so it can be divided in, but every passage cannot be divided. So I am just telling you there are several kind of logics to understand the content which has been given in the passage. So first of all, we will have a reading. After that, we will have an explanation, and then we will move towards the question on the passage. So let's get starting to read it. Look at this. In 1607, an Italian named Galileo invented the first telescope. As he peered through the end of his home-made instrument, he learned many new things about the universe. He saw the high mountains and deep valleys of the moon and found that it was a solid world. He saw that some stars were satellite-like the moon and seemed small only because of their immense distance. The next 300 years, a steady stream of spaceflight stories. When in 1942 something happened that it gave a man power to reach to the moon, and a Inuit, a secret German research station on a first V2 rocket was launched. So actually it was a reading and we had it slowly, we had been completed it very slowly, and now we will try to get an understanding. Actually it may possible that we are taking little much time to understand it here, but it is just because of our first passage and it is the starting phase of our activity. So it might be possible that we could take little more time, but as soon as we are moving further, then the required time will not be like now, whatever the time that we are taking now. In a further process we would not take that much of time, so you will have that habits, and you will also know that what kind of things and what kind of actions, what kind of understanding, what kind of grasping should be there from the passage. You will get it about. Okay, so first of all, what we will try to understand here, it has been given in a 1607. Keep in your mind, 1607 means every time if any century, period, a date which has been mentioned in a passage, always it is most probable thing would be there, means they could ask the question on this kind of digits which has been given in a passage, and it is the most probability. It has been seen since so many attempts, and it is a very well experienced statement that we can say. If the content of passage is including centuries, dates, or any digits in it, so question can be, the most probable question can be arise on which would be depend on the digits, centuries and numbers, whatever the given material it is. Okay, Then here 1607, an Italian name, means the scientist who can astronauts, we could say a scientist, a geologist. We could say that a person who was having means who was very eager to understand, who was very eager to study in a space, celestial bodies, uh, heavenly bodies which is located in a space, and he discovered telescope. Telescope means the thing or the instrument with the help of which we could see object which is existing very far from us, and see this can be an object, and so this is the telescope. Understood? So Galileo invented a telescope, and then he peered through it. Peer means to look through it. He tried to observe from it, and what he understood? He saw what he saw. He saw passage. He saw high mountains. First of all, what he made? He made a telescope. Then he started to study a different structures, and then he moved towards to study a sky. And when he fixed up his telescope, the direction of his telescope towards the moon, what he saw? As soon as he fixed up the direction of his telescope towards the moon, what he saw? He saw high mountain and deep valleys of the moon. High mountain and deep valleys of the moon. That it was a solid world. Means he realized that, he understood that now we all are known about the moon. So if I am saying you the moon is like this, the moon is like a solid, there is no water on moon. So it is a common information to all of us. But before 300 years, it was not a common information. Even without Galileo, no one was having that information. So the one kind of very important and very what we can say about it means the information no one was knowing on the earth about it. So that information was known with the Galileo, and it was very important. But because depending on this information, the lot of possibilities can be made continue on this. So it can be we can say that how much importance and how much it is a milestone like information in a space discoveries. Then he saw that some stars were satellites. Satellites means what? A moving. Some of the satellites will be natural satellites, like a moon is natural satellite of Earth, and some of the satellites will moving artificially. Means if different kind of through the different space research centers, satellite will be launched by the different scientists and different research organization with the different purposes, with the different intent. They wanted to study something, they wanted to find out something, they wanted to check the weather of different particular region. So there would be different kind of purposes and intent to send the satellites in the sky. So it was the meaning of satellite. Okay, satellite like the moon and seemed small only because of their immense distance. What he understood, he felt or he understood that moon is a solid, and how high mountains and deep valleys are existing on a moon. Then after also he understood about why those kind of objects, why these, see, if you look here, you can check out the slope which is located on the land of moon. Mean mountain, valleys are also present on the moon, and Galileo observed only that those things. And then he realized what he realized. Then he realized just because the distance between Earth and Moon, not it is about only Moon, but any other planet. Now, how many planets are? Several planets are there also. Saturn, Mars, such kind of planets are there. But the distance between Earth and other planet, they are having a very long and immense distance. And just because of that distance, those planets are seen, they appear in a very small size. He understood, he realized these things. Then, the next 300 years, after that event, after that incident, means almost 300 years have been passed out. Up to when? Up to 1942. Means, look at that. 1607 up to 1942, 300 years have been passed out. And in this 300, in that phase, there are several discoveries, several possibilities have been uncovered by the man, that they could understood those discoveries, those inventions gave the power to man, that man could reach on the land of moon, that man could study a land of moon by going there. In this 300 year, several kind of experiments, researches, discoveries had been happened in this time. A steady space flight story. A steady space flight story. Then in 1942, something happened. And what happened? What is the specific incident that had been happened in 1942? Man, the power to reach to the moon at Pinyu. It is a research space center, research station on the first. Pinyu, a secret German research station. The first V2 rocket was launched. V2 rocket was launched firstly from which? From where? Pinyu Research Center, and which is very priorly based on discoveries, space discoveries, and which is located in Germany. So it was a very brief, and actually it took little more time, but every day we are not taking that much of time to explain about the passages. Why? Because you will have that kind of means, that is actually this is our first passage, and you should understand every brief information which has been given in the passages. Just because that reason I took little more space, little more time for that. But after a while we will not take that much of time. Okay, then we will move towards the question of the passage. Now first question is that who invented first telescope? Now only one scientist's name has been mentioned in this passage, and that is what? It is not Newton, it is not Wright, it is not Edison, it is about Galileo. So what you will have to do? You will have to make a correction, and you will make a black circle to the correct option, and that would be a B. So you will have to make a clear. Okay, next one. What did he see through the telescope? Means at the first time Galileo, now as I told you, Galileo discovered in a 1607, Galileo has been discovered a first telescope. He peered through it. He was trying to understand by seeing something to it, something to the telescope. Then what he understood? High valleys and deep mountains. Second one, high mountains and deep valleys of the moon. Third one, deep water of the moon. The power of the moon. See, to find out the correct option from those kind of questions, what you have to do? First of all, read all the options. You have to read all the options, because if the means the possibility of if you are feeling that this option is correct, so second option can be, means the percentage and the possibilities of the correct answer should be the second option. So what we have to do? We have to analyze all the options in a very few time, in a very little time, and then you will have that logic. What would be the correct? What is the reason behind it? You will understand. You will have that logic. Okay. So high valleys and deep mountains. Valleys are never high. They are always deep. Right? Mountains are high. So it is not a correct action. High mountains and deep valleys. Mountains are always high and valleys are deep. So it is correct. But we will check out, we will turn towards the next option. Can that be more correct than it? We will have to also check it. Okay. So deep water, up to now there is no water we have found in on the moon. So that's why the C option cannot be correct. Now we will check towards the power of the moon. Power of the No, there is no any point to write this answer and this answer and this answer. So the B answer would be called as a correct answer. So you have to make a black circle in front of the B. Now, why did moon seem small? It has been just because different moving satellites, different planet, and whatever the heavenly bodies and celestial bodies which is located in the space, why they are appearing very small. The clearly reason has been given in the passage, and what is that reason? Just because immense distance, आपल्यापासून ते खूप लांब आहे आणि त्यांचा आणि आपला अंतर हा एक दुसऱ्यापासून खूप जास्त लांब असल्यामुळेच त्यामुळं ते त्याचे बॉडीज, सेलेस्टियल बॉडीज अँड what heavenly bodies which we use to look, and that is appearing very small. So first of all, reduce the distance, be immense distance. As I told you, immense means they are very far from us, and just because of that reason it is looking very small, and just because of that reason now we will move towards the next slide. Next slide please. Is it next one? Yes. So, in which year did men get power to reach to the moon? It has been clearly mentioned in a passage. See, 2 centuries means 2 numbers has been mentioned. Which 1607 means 16th century. In which century Galileo had been invented telescope. And next one is given 1942, where from the Germany Research Center, Pinnimide, they launched a V2 satellite to the moon. So it means we could say in a 1942, man was capable to reach at the moon in the year of 1942, and it has been mentioned. While you are reading, you have to pay your attention, or you have to read in a very attentively. It means you will get an answers. Then next, it's my personal experiments. It's my personal experiment. If प्रत्येक उत्तराच्या शेवटचा जो 5वा प्रश्न आहे तो तुम्हाला जास्त कन्फ्यूज करणाऱ्यापैकी असतो, त्यासाठी तेव्हा तो प्रश्न वाचतानाच, प्रश्नाची सुरुवातच जेव्हा आपण वाचताना करीत असतो, when you are starting to read that question, that time you have to alert and you have to be more attentive while you are reading also. Okay, next, which rocket? Oh, actually this was very easy questions, but it's my experience, and you will understand how I was wrong in the next, means whatever the further passages we will take in the future. You will get an understanding 5th questions, the difficulty of 5th questions of every passage. I'm not saying that every passage, but some of the passages and most of the passages, the 5th question would be little difficult as compared to the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Okay, so here, which rocket was launched at the Baltic coast? It has been given V2 rocket was launched from the Baltic coast. As here one number has been given. जर तुम्हाला काही अडचणी असतील, व्हिडिओ बद्दल काही अडचणी असतील, किंवा तुमच्या वैयक्तिक काही तुम्हाला काही आमच्याशी संपर्क करायचा असेल, तर 9322248447, that number has been given to you. You can make a contact on it. But please, it's my request, suggestion and order to all of you, please be stick with your books. Best of luck.